Sports Preview Show. We're so glad you could join us this week. We're live in studio and going to be recapping an exciting first week in high school football here. We were thrilled to have the pleasure of covering the Dale County Ayrton game live from Ayrton. What a tremendous matchup between two ranked teams in 4A and 2A. It was a hard-fought game, close game all the way into the fourth quarter. Dale County coming out on top, 41 to 19 in that game. Lots of other great action across the Wiregrass that we're going to be able to get to. We saw a lot of great things out of both schools. Ayrton, very dimensional, running a lot of different formations, a lot of different looks. We see here Dale County on the highlights as they make a big play, very first play offense for them, big touchdown to number 4, get on the board as they took an early 7-0 lead. Later in the game, another big play, big run, breaking many tackles, and we see the athletic ability. Dale County with a lot of team speed. They're going to really turn some heads this year in 4A as they took a 13-0 lead here early on in the action. Not to be disappointed, Ayrton fights back hard to pull the game 13-13. Big kick return by Dale County to go up a point, and then a huge turnover here midway through the second. Big fumble recovery in the end zone by Ayrton to pull the game within 2 again. So very exciting action. We were able to catch up with both coaches. We're going to hear from James Edmond from Dale County and also Coach Gilcrease from Ayrton to see their post-game comments.
Hey, and welcome to Wiregrass Sports. We're here with James Edmond, the wide receivers coach for Dale County. Impressive win tonight. 2 ranked teams that never played each other in the school's history, but you're in an interesting situation here with an Ayrton background, so tell us your thoughts after the game tonight.
I've been excited all week about it. It's big to come back home. This is the first time I've been back home. I graduated in 2008 from here and played football here, started Pee-wees through here. So I knew it was all summer I've been thinking about this, and coming back home, seeing a lot of friends and family. It was exciting for me, and I knew the kids were excited to be able to play such a highly ranked opponent. I mean, Ayrton was really tough. Our guys were really excited about that challenge.
Well, obviously your team first. You have to be happy to get a win. It appears that you came out fairly healthy. You guys showed a lot of big playability and a lot for future opponents to have to game plan against. Can you speak about your side and how your wide receivers played?
I think they did really well blocking. We had big play right at the beginning. Our first play of the game, we'd been working on it all week, a route to our one of our best receivers, David Andrews. He called it for a big touchdown play. And like you said, we got a lot of athletes, so we can spread the ball around. Sometimes it's kind of hard. We got to tell the guys, hey, there's only one ball. We're good in that department.
Absolutely, and you definitely, big plays were the theme of your first half for sure. 2 big touchdowns on the first play of a drive, and then you have the kick return for a touchdown. But back to Ayrton, and you've been very classy in all your comments, but I'm assuming they probably made you a little bit proud deep inside too of how they handled themselves and competed into the fourth quarter. Absolutely.
My thoughts on them is just high class, and they play hard. My cousin's an offensive lineman for him. He did great tonight. So it was awesome seeing them, and I know they're going to be successful in 2A. They're going to be a tough team. They're a tough team across the board. So it was great to be able to come out and get a win.
Well, thank you for your unique perspective. Thank you for joining us on the show, and best of luck to Dale County. We'll see you again later this season.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Hey guys, and welcome to Wiregrass Sports. We're here with Coach Gilcrease. Coach Gilcrease came up on the short end tonight, but you really did the community proud. You did your players proud, and we were treated to an exciting football game, very close, competitive. Give us your initial thoughts. We know you're frustrated at the moment, but tell us your initial reactions to the game.
Well, I was proud of our guys. We hung in there. We early in the game shot ourselves in the foot, penalties, and it just seemed like every time we give a big play, penalty. And we stayed in the game. We're able to stay in the game, and we tied it up 13-13, and then the ensuing kickoff, they run back for a touchdown. And it's sort of a deflating time, but we stayed in it. We kept going. I think we scored again and got back in it, but
within 5,
within 5, and then 8. All the way in the fourth quarter, and we just couldn't make the play. Or we had big penalties that brought back touchdowns. It's just our kids didn't quit.
No.
They played hard. That bunch got a lot. They're really good. They're really good up front, I thought, and have some really good athletes, and they're coached really well. So yeah, I'm proud of our guys. We can learn from it. That was the whole point of scheduling them.
That's right.
Is to play somebody of that caliber. We got a lot more out of that than If we played somebody that we know we'd have won.
Absolutely. We made the comment several times up there that you guys are not going to fear many opponents, on your schedule now compared to, like you say, the very good, very talented team that you just got through playing. They did have a lot of speed. They obviously had more depth in terms of numbers than you guys, but you spoke to it. Great resiliency to come back from 13-0, and even late in the game when the game could have been getting out of reach, you guys mounted some big drives, showed some heart on defense, and the mistakes, as you mentioned, could be cleaned up. How do you turn the page now? How do you grow from this? What's the game plan next week as you get ready to travel to Goshen for a game that will have much more to do with your seeding and playoff future?
Yeah, I mean, this will rebound. We'll be fine. We better not feel sorry for ourselves because we'll go to Goshen next week, and like you said, no, absolutely not. And that's another reason I want to play this. When you were playing Goshen again, I think this would help prepare us a little bit for Goshen, the athletes that Goshen can put on the field. So hopefully we can build from this and
we feel like
carry over and get better.
Well, Coach, we thank you so much for joining us on the show tonight. Maybe a loss in the win column, but I think it was a win for your program. I think it was good for the community. You had great fan support, top to bottom, and we appreciate everything you're doing for the Wiregrass football.
Thank you all for everything.
Thank you, and good luck. We'll see you later in the season.
All right, thank you.
And we'd like to thank both coaches and both teams for their hospitality last week. It was an honor to cover their game, and we look forward to keeping up with both of them as they progress through the season. Also, another Wiregrass action, we had Charles Henderson 10-6 getting a big in-county win over Pike County. Close, hard-fought game. Both schools, nothing to be ashamed of as we look forward this week to covering Charles Henderson at Enterprise. Enterprise last week, a Thursday night game, a 44-21 win over Dothan. Northview, feature of our big matchup between them and Dothan. Later in the season, they had a 34-6 win over Southside. Elba, their first game in 1A this year, taking on 3A Wicksburg. Elba gets the win 35-21 in that one. Highland Home with a big upset victory over the Brantley Bulldogs. That scored 19-17. New Brockton, rough start to their season, 10-35, taking the loss against Providence Christian. Houston Academy with a 31-0 win over Zion Chapel. Carroll of Ozark, 33-6 over Booker T. Washington. Andalusia, rough start to the season, 41-3 as they fall to Saraland. Slocum in a local action, 21-8 victory over GW Long. We look forward to seeing GW Long and Ayrton later in the season. Geneva County, 41-33 over Sampson. Ashford, 31-7 over Rehoboth, who will be in our coverage as well. And then Pike Liberal Arts locally, they get a second win of the year, 24-7 over Crenshaw Christian in a big high school matchup. This week we have lots to talk about on the show. We appreciate you joining us. We're going to talk a lot about our matchup. This week we host Charles Henderson as they travel to Enterprise to take on the 7A Wildcats. We're fixing to have our first special guest on right after this break as we have Coach Shaughnessy from Troy University come and talk a little bit about strength and conditioning program, developing these athletes into their future careers, and obviously some Trojan football and other week's action. And we're going to have some comments from Enterprise head coach Mr. Faulkner later, as well as a call in from Charles Henderson's coach. So stick with us. We'll be right back on the Napa Trojan Auto Parts preview show.
Here's some Napa know-how for you. Your local Napa Auto Parts
we had all
store
the
in Troy
highlights
is
and
under new
interviews going.
ownership with an all-new fully stocked store. Big deal, you say? Big deal, we say. Like the ownership, the store has a new look, too. We're still delivering the same Napa quality and know-how, but we've increased our inventory and are committed to helping you find the parts you need when you need them. So come check us out. We've got the right part at the right price at the right time.
Know-how, Napa know-how.
Hook's Barbecue, down-home barbecue in a counter-served setting, located on Emma Drive off of Highway 231 in Troy, Alabama.
When you want the best for your pet, choose Southern Animal Hospital and Pet Resort. Our passionate and dedicated staff will make your pet feel as if they were at home. We are a full-service small animal hospital covering all areas of veterinary medicine. Dr. Steve Barron makes sure that all clients are well-informed and satisfied with services. We are equipped with an indoor boarding facility, surgery suite, laboratory, digital X-ray, and ultrasound. Choose the best care possible for the ones you love dearest with Southern Animal Hospital and Pet Resort.
Total Lawn Care Plus is your one-stop shop for lawn care, landscape, pressure washing, handyman work, and more. Licensed and insured with over 7 years commercial experience. Dozens of satisfied customers in Pike and 4 surrounding counties.
Well, it finally happened, Zachary. Somebody burned down my she shed.
Nobody burned down your she shed, Cheryl.
Well, my she shed's on fire.
The she shed was struck by lightning.
Zachary, is my she shed covered by State Farm?
Your she shed's covered, Cheryl.
You hear that, Victor? I'm getting a new she shed.
She shear?
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful news.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
Call State Farm agent Burris Gracie today.
South Alabama Stockyard, now under new ownership, is still family owned and operated by cattle farmers right here in Southeast Alabama. Come every Thursday at 1 p.m. and join the best buyers and sellers from all over the area. Whether you come for the experience, looking at getting into the cattle business, or maintaining your farm and growing, South Alabama Stockyard is where all the farmers are. Vendors are on site every auction, so come on and have lunch with us. Located at 268 County Road 5522, Troy, Alabama.
Welcome back to the Napa Trojan Auto Parts Preview Show. We have a very special guest this week. We're here with Coach Richard Shaughnessy. He's actually the Director of Strength and Conditioning for Troy University, as well as the Pro Liaison for the university. Coach, I've had the pleasure of knowing you for nearly 20 years now. You were working for Troy way back when I was a part of their baseball program, and it's a pleasure to have you on the show. As times have changed and players continue to get bigger, faster, stronger, you guys play an intricate role in the development of these players and player safety and their health and well-being. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your position with the university?
Well, I'm originally from Dothan, Alabama. Played at Northview 100 years ago when it first started. Played baseball and football. Went on to college and also got into Olympic weightlifting and powerlifting on top of that. And then worked for a guy named Bill Kazmar when I was getting out of college for a little bit, and he taught me a little bit about, the strength and conditioning aspect of things from a strongman competition. I did some of that, and then I decided I want to make it my life. So I've been doing it now. This is going on 24 years here at Troy, and I did it, another 5 in Dothan, and also I was in Georgia for a little bit. So it's been a good stint for me. What we do now is a vital part. We think it is, and if you look around the country now, there's a lot of emphasis placed on strength conditioning and what it does for the athlete. Not just with football, but all sports now. There's
Absolutely.
17 sports at Troy. I touch on all of them. Your women's sports, it's turned into a totally different game now. Everyone's got to win. Everybody's got to be successful. Everybody's got to get bigger, faster, stronger. And, with things becoming so specific now, you really are trying to keep kids from injury. And if they do get injured, hopefully it'll be less of an injury when it gets to that point. So, we think that in strength and condition, it is the major component of their success in any sport.
Well, no doubt it plays an integral role, and to be at the university for 24 years with as much turnover as there is in college athletics, with pressure to win, as you mentioned, and I'm sure you've served under many different coaches at many different positions. Right. It speaks to your success. It speaks to your value to the school. Bill Kazmaier, for those not familiar, world's strongest man winner many times over. And we're excited to have you on, as you're actually a member of the Wiregrass Sports Hall of Fame. Right. So congratulations on your place in that, and here to have you on Wiregrass Sports. You mentioned Troy's number of sports going. Obviously it's football season, the big game this weekend a lot of people are interested in is Troy hosts Boise State. A perennially ranked team, a big program that they've got going out there. How's Troy's football team looking, and what do you look for them this season?
Well, I think Coach Brown's doing a great job. I mean, he puts a lot in it. They work many, many hours preparing for this day. He's very specific to things that he wants and how he wants it done, and attention to detail. I think this team is, a pretty talented team. There's a lot of good players on this team and a lot of guys going in the right direction, doing the right things. You got a good coaching staff. I think we're going to play well. I think the guys are ready. I know they've been working hard and putting in a lot of hours.
Right. Well, we're very excited. A lot of buzz around town this week. A big game. We're expecting a huge crowd, unveiling some new additions to the stadium. All that's very key. In addition to being the director of strength and conditioning, I know you serve as a pro liaison.
Right.
For those that don't know, how are you helping these kids make the transition, not just through athletics, but through finances and other areas? How are you helping them get ready for their pro careers?
Well, I handle all scouting, financial advisors, agents. From a football perspective, I mean, the agents, they start in their junior year now. So
right.
It's trying to come around, talking to players, sending them things, whatever it is. Scouting now, with so many juniors coming out, I mean, it starts as early as that, as early as their beginning of their junior season. Me having to be able to critique guys in their junior year, not only their senior year, with the possibility of them
Correct.
maybe even coming out. So for me, it used to be a seasonal thing. Now it's turned into an all-year deal. I mean, scouts start now. They start contacting me in June, wanting to know when practices are going to start in August, and so they can get their schedules together. I mean, we haven't played our first game, and I've already seen about 25 scouts. So
and the NCAA in basketball this year has thrown some new rules on us in regards to their freshman rules and being able to sign with an agent and not. If they are undrafted, to come back, and I'm sure that puts another can of worms into you making sure these kids are making the right decisions.
That puts a can of worms into things. Baseball's another one. I mean, and all of them are handled differently. As far as the rules and what can be done, and with the agent situation. The biggest thing with the agents, most of them who try to come in, they know they got to be certified and registered in the state of Alabama, along with the NFLPA or whatever sport we're talking about. So that's my job too.
I'm sure that these players, as well as the university, really appreciate the job that you do with these young men and helping them make this next step, and women, to their next career. And I know we've had several players go pro in a number of sports recently, from soccer to basketball. And obviously football, the NFL is filled with Trojan
Track
talent
and field.
now. Yes, absolutely. Golf, everything.
Golf.
I know me and you talked earlier in the week when we were getting prepared for this, and with weight training is starting at a much younger age for these players now. They're taking supplements, they're taking, different types of vitamins and minerals, and you talked about the specialized, and we have year-round baseball, summer league, AAU basketball, et cetera. Coach, if you had some advice that you could give to these parents that are listening today for the high school kids tuning in.
Well, I'm not so sure whether it's a good situation or not with you going all year long. I mean, all your injuries now are overuse injuries, and that's from doing too much, from ACLs to rotator cuff to elbows to whatever it is. I mean, used to, you let the kids go home for summer, they played and they did other things. Now they're going to academies or camps or playing, especially with the baseball situation. Some of them
never get the rest.
Some of them are playing up to 3 leagues.
Right.
With football now, I mean, you don't send them home for summer anymore.
Correct.
All your sports now are all year round. With that being said, they're trying to make sure that they're becoming more tuned and fine-tuned to playing their sports. But on the other end of that, the body can only take so much. And, it's our job to try to get them prepared for that. But even with what we're doing, sometimes it's hard to do that when you're, the body recovery is the key, and a lot of them aren't getting recovered like they need to. I mean, so some of these bad injuries that you're having, I mean, we were just talking today, when I played, if you saw one ACL in 4 or 5 years, I mean, that was a big deal. Now you got
several a week, and it almost seems like.
You may have one in every sport in a 2 or 3 week period. I mean, it's just an epidemic. So.
Well, I think it's a combination of, we're pushing our bodies to the limits as we go further and further with, you now have, full-size men, 300-pound men that are running faster than the small guys did.
Well, you got linebackers now that are 250 pounds that can run 4 or 5. I mean, it's a car wreck every play.
That's right.
So, it's changed things. Or the way guys hit baseballs now. I mean,
absolutely.
they're going further. Plus, they're bigger. I mean, baseball players are bigger now. Track athletes are stronger. They got better physiques. I mean,
even the Tiger Woods in golf. It's every
golf,
sport
golf
that you
has
can
changed drastically.
Every sport you can mention is athleticism is a role. There's no such thing anymore. Like you say, as things get more specialized, strength and conditioning, diet, nutrition are all huge factors.
And nutrition is turning into a major factor. What's being spent on nutrition, what we're trying to do with athletes, extra meals. Because like I said, it all goes back to recovery. If you're not sleeping and you're not eating, it's not going to matter what you're doing in the weight room or on the field or on the court. You're going to end up with some issues. So it's turned into a major deal. And we at Troy have invested in that as well significantly. I mean, for the athletes, which was something we didn't have access to before.
Well, I know it's hard oftentimes for these parents who obviously want their kids to play as much as they want to and try to prepare them for the next level, whether that be a college scholarship or potentially a pro career. I know Dr. James Andrews, who has visited the university many times and helped some of our athletes even back in my day.
Right.
He speaks to the same thing that you're talking to in terms of these baseball players and people needing rest. So,
well, when would you have thought you'd see Tommy John surgery at 13, 14-year-old kids?
You never would have dreamed that. And when I played a knee injury, you almost considered it career ending, and now we have players returning 8-9 months later into full game action again.
Quickly.
But we definitely echo your sentiments that these players probably need some breaks and need some recovery time, especially the younger players, the high school age players, and until they can get with a professional like yourself who can really monitor their development and what type of regiment that they're on.
And there is a right way to do it and a wrong way. I'm not sure. It's just like with us, we have to be certified through a couple of different certifications, to know what we're doing. I mean, used to you just had, an offensive line coach or whatever that would handle the weights. Now it's so fine-tuned. It's such a science to it, the way that you train, the way that you eat, the way that you sleep, what time of day you're training, what kind of training you're doing, how far away from the game you're going to stop training or what have you. And, I mean, it's just the whole concept of it's changed so much.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you so much joining us on Wiregrass Sports. Again, congratulations on a member of the Wiregrass Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
We appreciate the insight that you shared with the parents listening tonight, and thank you for the insight on Trojan football as we get ready to kick off the 2018 season. In addition to the Troy-Boise State game, Alabama will be hosting Louisville in the late night game, and Auburn will be playing Washington in Atlanta. But we're going to get back to the coverage of the Charles Henderson Enterprise game this week and some more high school action after this short break. You're watching the Trojan Auto Parts Preview Show.
Total Lawn Care Plus is your one-stop shop for lawn care, landscape, pressure washing, handyman work, and more. Licensed and insured with over 7 years commercial experience. Dozens of satisfied customers in Pike and 4 surrounding counties.
When you want the best for your pet, choose Southern Animal Hospital and Pet Resort. Our passionate and dedicated staff will make your pet feel as if they were at home. We are a full-service small animal hospital covering all areas of veterinary medicine. Dr. Steve Barron makes sure that all clients are well-informed and satisfied with services. We are equipped with an indoor boarding facility, surgery suite, laboratory, digital X-ray, and ultrasound. Choose the best care possible for the ones you love dearest with Southern Animal Hospital and Pet Resort.
Well, it finally happened, Zachary. Somebody burned down my she shed.
Nobody burned down your she shed, Cheryl.
Well, my she shed's on fire.
The she shed was struck by lightning.
Zachary, is my she shed covered by State Farm?
Your she shed's covered, Cheryl.
You hear that, Victor? I'm getting a new she shear she shed.
She shear?
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful news.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
Call State Farm agent Burrise Gracie today.
South Alabama Stockyard, now under new ownership, is still family owned and operated by cattle farmers right here in southeast Alabama. Come every Thursday at 1 p.m. and join the best buyers and sellers from all over the area. Whether you come for the experience, looking at getting into the cattle business, or maintaining your farm and growing, South Alabama Stockyard is where all the farmers are. Vendors are on site every auction, so come on and have lunch with us. Located at 268 County Road 5522, Troy, Alabama.
some Napa know-how for you. Your local Napa Auto Parts store in Troy is under new ownership with an all-new fully stocked store. Big deal, you say? Big deal, we say. Like the ownership, the store has a new look, too. We're still delivering the same Napa quality and know-how, but we've increased our inventory and are committed to helping you find the parts you need when you need them. So come check us out. We've got the right part at the right price at the right time.
Know-how, Napa know-how.
Hook's Barbecue, down-home barbecue in a counter-served setting, located on Emma Drive off of Highway 231 in Troy, Alabama.
And welcome back to the Napa Auto Parts Trojan Preview Show. This week we have a great matchup for you as the Charles Henderson Trojans are going to be traveling to Enterprise to take on the 7A Wildcats. Both teams are receiving votes in the respective polls. Couldn't ask for a better matchup. Our second week of the season. Enterprise is a great venue for high school football. A lot of college talent will be on display for both teams. A lot of size, a lot of team speed. This is a matchup I know the whole city's looking forward to. And we were able to catch up with Enterprise's head coach David Faulkner today and get some insight about his thoughts leading into this week's big matchup.
You know, like I said, anytime you can get a win, you know, you're excited about that. I thought the kids came in and worked really hard last week to prepare to play well, and I thought that showed up in the game, and was really excited that we were able to come away with a victory. Well, you know, anytime you play Charles Henderson, you know you're going to see a big, fast, physical football team, so we're definitely going to have to play hard and play extremely physical, and they've got athletes at every position, so we're going to have to do a great job of getting a lot of people around the ball and getting the ball carrier down, and then defensively they're a very sound physical unit, so we're going to have to, you know, do a great job of playing assignment football and taking advantage of whatever opportunities we may get.
We appreciate Coach Faulkner taking a few minutes out of his practice today to speak with us, and we're going to be trying to get Charles Henderson's coach on the phone here in just a few seconds. Last week, Enterprise with a big win. That score 44-21 over Dothan on Thursday night. That game was played at Dothan, and Charles Henderson with a 10-6 victory over Pike County in Pike County. Some other games of interest this week as we try to reach him on the phone. Abbeville at Ashford. That should be a great matchup. Two local schools. Alabama Christian will be playing Pike County this week. Exciting matchup as Pike County looks to rebound week 2. Ayrton and Goshen should be a big matchup. Goshen had the week off last week as Ayrton fell to Dale County. So we're excited to see how those two teams bounce back. And we're going to be joined right now. Thank you, Coach. Coach, this is Joshua Hodge with Wiregrass Sports. How are you tonight? Hey, Coach, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, I apologize. We're glad to have you on. We're joined by Coach Brad McCoy of Charles Henderson. Coach, tell us a little bit first about yourself and your job at Charles Henderson.
Yes, sir. Well, I wanted to start by just saying thank you for having me tonight. We're excited about this new show that y'all got, and hopefully you can hear me okay because I'm driving right this minute.
We hear you great, and we appreciate your time.
Good. Well, I'm from Geneva, Alabama. I'm a graduate of Troy University, and I spent my first 7 years coaching at Prattville High School, where I coached under Bill Clark. This at UAB now.
Yes, sir.
I spent a year at Northview High School in Dothan as the offensive coordinator when I left Prattville as an assistant. And then I took the head coaching job at Delville High School right outside of Ozark and Enterprise, where I spent 5 seasons. And then